If you've ever come home from war, you know the world never looks the same. The colors are sharper, the silence is deeper. And the smallest things, a song on the radio, the smell of rain, can make you feel like you're still 1,000 miles away. But nothing, not even deployment, prepares you for the moment you realize your own family has betrayed you. I was halfway across the world when my grandmother died. I got the news in a short clipped email from my mother. Grandma passed. She left you the lake house. We'll handle everything. I read it 3 times, numb and exhausted. The desert sun beating down on the tent roof. The lake house was more than a house. It was the only place that ever felt like home. Summers spent fishing off the dock. Winters curled up by the fire. Grandma's laughter echoing through the halls. I promised myself I'd go back as soon as I could. But life in the military doesn't wait for grief. I buried myself in work, counting the days until I could come home. I didn't hear much from my family after that. A few scattered messages, mostly about my sister, Rachel, and her new restaurant. I tried not to think about it. I tried to believe that for once things would be simple. Then, 3 months before my deployment ended, I got a message from Rachel. No greeting, no explanation. Just, thanks for your service. Attached was a photo of her standing in front of a shiny new restaurant, the kind with gold lettering on the windows and a line out the door. I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting. Something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones. I called home, but no one answered. I emailed, texted, even tried my old neighbor. Nothing. The silence was louder than any explosion I'd ever heard. I spent the next 3 months in a fog, going through the motions, counting the days until I could see for myself what had happened. If you're watching this right now, I want to know, where are you? What city, what time is it? Drop it in the comments. I want to know who's listening, who's ever come home to find everything changed. When my plane finally touched down, I drove straight to the lake house. Or at least I tried. The driveway was blocked by a chain, a private property sign hanging from the gate. The house looked different. Fresh paint, new windows, a fancy security system blinking by the door. I stood there, heart pounding, trying to make sense of it. My name was still on the mailbox, but everything else was wrong. I drove to my parents' house, hoping for answers. My mother opened the door, her face tight and tired. "You're back," she said, as if I'd just come home from school. My father sat in his chair, staring at the TV. Rachel wasn't there. I asked about the lake house. My mother's lips thinned. "We sold it," she said. "Rachel needed the money for her restaurant. It was just sitting there and you weren't around. We thought it was best." My father didn't look at me. He just muttered, "You should be grateful. We did it for the family." I felt the world tilt. "It wasn't yours to sell," I said, my voice shaking. "Grandma left it to me. It was in her will." My mother shrugged. "You weren't here. We had to make a decision." I left without another word. I drove to the courthouse, the will clutched in my hand, my heart pounding. I filed a complaint, hired a lawyer, and waited. The days blurred together. Meetings, paperwork, phone calls. My parents tried to call, tried to explain, but I didn't answer. I couldn't, not after what they'd done. The court date came faster than I expected. I walked into the courtroom, not a family dinner. My parents sat on one side, Rachel beside them, her face pale and drawn. I sat alone, my lawyer at my side. The judge entered, her robe billowing, her eyes sharp. She listened to both sides. My parents' excuses, my lawyer's arguments, the evidence from the will. The room was silent, every word echoing off the walls. I watched my father's hands tremble, my mother's eyes darting to the floor. Rachel wouldn't look at me. The judge cleared her throat, her voice steady. "This is not a complicated case," she said. "The will is clear. The lake house belonged to the plaintiff. The defendants had no right to sell it. The sale is void. The proceeds must be returned and damages will be awarded." My father collapsed into his chair, his face ashen. My mother gasped. Rachel started to cry. The judge's words hang in the air, heavy and final. For a moment, no one moves. My father sits slumped, his hands gripping the edge of the table as if he might fall through the floor. My mother's face is frozen in shock, her lips parted but silent. Rachel buries her face in her hands, her shoulders shaking. I sit perfectly still, my heart pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears. I want to feel triumphant, but all I feel is empty. The judge continues, her voice cutting through the silence. This court finds that the defendants acted with willful disregard for the decedent's wishes. The plaintiff is entitled to full restitution of the property or its value, plus punitive damages for emotional distress and loss of use. She looks directly at my parents. You had no legal or moral right to do what you did. The law is not on your side. My lawyer leans over, whispering, We did it. You're getting the house back. And more. I nod, but I can't quite process it. I glance at my parents, searching for any sign of regret. But all I see is fear and confusion. Rachel finally looks up, her eyes red. I'm sorry, she mouths, but I look away. Sorry doesn't fix what's broken. After the hearing, the bailiff hands me a stack of papers, orders for the return of the house, instructions for the transfer of funds, a schedule for the damages hearing. I thank him, my voice barely above a whisper. My parents shuffle out of the courtroom, avoiding my gaze. Rachel lingers as if she wants to say something, but I walk past her, out into the bright sunlight. If you're still watching, tell me, have you ever had to fight for something that was rightfully yours? Where are you right now? What time is it? Drop it in the comments. I want to know who's listening, who's ever had to stand up to the people who were supposed to protect them. The next few weeks are a blur of paperwork and phone calls. The new owners of the lake house are furious. They had no idea the sale was illegal. My lawyer handles it all, negotiating the return of the property and the funds. I visit the house for the first time since coming home, my hands shaking as I unlock the door. The furniture is different, the walls repainted, but the view from the dock is the same. I sit on the porch, listening to the water lap against the shore, and let myself breathe. My parents try to reach out, calls, emails, even a letter. I read the letter once, then tuck it away in a drawer. They say they were desperate, that they thought they were helping Rachel, that they never meant to hurt me. But the words feel hollow. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive them. Rachel shows up at the lake house one afternoon, her car kicking up dust on the gravel drive. She stands on the porch, twisting her hands, her eyes full of tears. I'm sorry, she says again. I didn't know what they were doing until it was too late. I should have stopped them. I should have told you. I listen, but I don't say much. There's nothing left to say. We sit in silence for a long time, watching the sun set over the water. Finally, she stands. I hope you can forgive me someday, she says. I nod, but I don't promise anything. Some wounds take longer to heal. I spend the next few days cleaning the house, unpacking boxes, trying to make it feel like home again. I find old photos of Grandma, her smile, her laugh, the way she always made me feel safe. I hang her favorite painting in the living room, plant flowers in the garden, fix the squeaky step on the porch. Slowly, the house starts to feel like mine. One evening, as I sit on the dock, I think about everything that's happened. The betrayal, the fight, the victory that doesn't feel like a win. I wonder if things will ever be the same with my family. If I'll ever be able to trust them again. I wonder if I even want to. If you're still here, still listening, I want you to know, you have the right to fight for what's yours. You have the right to demand respect, even from the people who gave you life. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The lake is quiet, the stars coming out one by one. I close my eyes, breathing in the cool night air, and for the first time in months, I feel at peace. The next morning, I wake up to sunlight streaming through the windows, the lake outside calm and glassy. For a moment, I almost forget everything that's happened, the courtroom, the betrayal, the months of silence. I make coffee in Grandma's old percolator, the kitchen filling with the familiar scent. I sit at the table looking out at the water and realize I'm finally home. Not just in a place, but in myself. I spend the day fixing things, tightening loose hinges, sweeping the porch, unpacking the last of my boxes. Each small task feels like a step toward reclaiming what was stolen. Not just the house, but the sense of belonging I thought I'd lost forever. I find a faded photo of Grandma and me fishing off the dock and tuck it into the corner of the bathroom mirror. Her smile reminds me that I'm not alone even now. In the afternoon, I get a call from my lawyer. The damages hearing is set for next week. You'll have a chance to speak, he says. To tell the judge what this has cost you. I thank him, my voice steady. I know what I want to say, but I'm not sure I'm ready to say it out loud. That night, I sit on the dock, the sky streaked with pink and gold. I think about my parents, about Rachel, about the choices that brought us here. I wonder if they regret what they did, or if they're just sorry they got caught. I wonder if forgiveness is possible or even necessary. I let the questions drift away on the breeze, replaced by something quieter, something like hope. The day of the hearing arrives. I dress in my uniform, the metals polished, the fabric crisp. I walk into the courtroom, head held high, and take my seat. My parents are there, looking older, smaller. Rachel sits beside them, her hands folded in her lap.
The judge asks me to speak.
I stand, my heart pounding, and tell my story. I talk about Grandma, about the summers at the lake house, about the promise I made to come home. I talk about the betrayal, the months of silence, the pain of losing not just a house, but a family. I talk about what it means to fight for what's right, even when it hurts. The judge listens, her eyes kind. When I finish, she nods. Thank you for your service, she says. And thank you for your courage. She awards full damages, plus additional compensation for emotional distress. My parents don't look at me. Rachel wipes her eyes. After the hearing, I step outside into the sunlight. My lawyer shakes my hand, congratulates me, and leaves. I stand on the courthouse steps, the weight of the past months lifting from my shoulders. I know the money won't fix everything. It won't bring back the years I lost or the trust that was broken. But it's a start. If you're still watching, I want to ask, where are you right now? What time is it? Drop it in the comments. I want to know who's listening, who's ever had to rebuild after losing everything. I drive back to the lake house, the road winding through trees just starting to turn gold. I stop at the market, buy fresh bread and flowers, and invite a few friends over for dinner. We sit on the porch, laughing, sharing stories, watching the sun set over the water. For the first time, the house feels full, not just of memories, but of new beginnings. Later, as I clean up, I find a note slipped under the door. It's from Rachel. I know I can't undo what happened, she writes, but I hope someday you'll let me try to make it right. I miss you. I fold the note, tuck it into my pocket, and step outside. The night is quiet, the stars bright above the lake. I walk down to the dock, the boards cool under my feet, and sit with my feet dangling over the water. I think about forgiveness, about family, about the future. I don't know what comes next, but I know I'll face it on my own terms. I look up at the sky, the constellations shifting overhead, and feel a sense of peace settle over me. I survived. I fought for what was mine, and I won. If you're still here, still listening, remember this. You are stronger than you think. You deserve to come home to yourself, no matter who tries to take it away.